Okay, this is going to be a very interesting, never done before recording of the Card Diary by Hobby S. Thompson. I am your host, Denny Cards, and I am having severe FOMO of missing the National. I am in a car, for those of you who are watching on YouTube. I have done the audio testing with my guest. He is also the driver of this car. I am making this trip to a card show in lieu of the National because of this severe FOMO. So I would like to welcome to you my new card friend, David. How are you today?
I am doing well, thank you.
So definitely we're going to have an audio component of this. That's going to be the primary. We tested out the microphone. We realized gain level is not our friend. We want that to be as low as possible. Definitely don't want you to look at the camera. We're going to have you driving. The most important thing is having a safe drive. But I wanted to have this conversation with you because you and I just recently got to know each other. And we are on the road for a almost spontaneous road trip to go to a card show to set up as dealers.
That is true. This came up very, extremely spontaneous. I think we made the decision, finalized it about 24 hours ago, 36 hours ago.
Yeah, exactly.
We discussed it, and there's some things we had to weigh out, and then it's like, let's do it.
And then we had to rush to our Amazon shopping carts to make sure we had the proper material to set up right. Like, for instance, you bought your first ever portable display case, right?
Right, yeah. It's I think it holds 36 graded cards. So yeah, I didn't have really any sort of display or any sort of protection on the table to display any of the cards other than a cardboard box that the card boxes come
right in. And you have some of those white cardboard boxes of, like, multiple rows because you collect. I mean, this is your first time setting up as a dealer, but you've been a collector like your whole life, right?
Not necessarily my whole life. I took a massive break. I have an estimated 80,000 cards, and it goes all sports. I have hockey, basketball, football, baseball. My oldest cards are baseball cards from 1937. I only have a handful of those. And then I have quite a few of the 60s, early 60s, 61, 62s. And I think, along with everybody else, we all have a gazillion of the 80s.
Yeah.
And then I didn't do much in the 90s other than really following Derek Jeter. Mm-hmm. Because he's from my hometown, so it made it nice to, you have a hometown professional player who happened to be a star. So I started buying cards individually, but not necessarily boxes or packs or anything like that.
So you are like both a Tigers and Yankees, like you root for, like, the Kalamazoo native.
Right. So I am probably like most people, you root for your home teams.
Right.
However, I am a player follower. I have to like the player as a person. I have to like their personality.
Right. Yeah.
So if they have a great personality, I'll tend to follow them, regardless on what team they play for.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess it just so happens though that your hometown team, Tigers, like Derek Jeter never played for another team.
Right. So that was tough because I had a lot of Jeter rookie cards.
Yeah.
I still do. And so when they played the Tigers, I had
conflicted.
I was very conflicted on who I wanted to win.
Yeah.
Because the more Jeter wins, the more value possibly your cards go.
Right. But you never really sold cards. Like, you and I talked about this before we hit record, but as we grew up, we didn't know about card shows. Like, we knew about the local card shop, we knew about the Beckett magazines, we knew about like my first national was, and I kept saying initially when I started doing this podcast that it was 2012, but that's the one where I got the VIP pass and I had some remnants or material from it. But I actually went to the 2008 national and the 2012 national. Both of them were in Baltimore, and then I went to 2023. So had I gone to 2024, that would have been my fourth. But you haven't been to a national. You told me your first show was in Chantilly, 2018, I think, 6 years ago.
Right, it was about 6 years ago. Didn't even know about card shows, and at that point, I probably had maybe 1,000 cards.
So in the last
yeah,
6 years, you've amassed 79,000 cards.
Right,
Oh,
I beefed up quite expeditiously.
So, like, where did that come from? Was it like a lot of like nostalgia collecting? Like, oh, I'm buying cards that I always wanted.
So
did you rip wax? Like, did you buy singles? Like, how did you amass those 79?
So my nephew, he I had an interest in it, didn't really 100% know how to go about it. My nephew kind of kickstarted me when he sent me a text message one day, and he said, I was just at the local Goodwill store, and they have a big giant tote for $200 that is packed with cards.
Yes.
So I had no idea what I was getting.
Yeah.
I went there and I bought this tote blindly, and I think there was a 76 Rod Carew, or there was an All-Star Rod Carew card, other Rod Carew cards. There's basketball cards. I mean, it had all the sports. So at that point, that really got me like, oh, this is fascinating, interesting.
Yeah.
But I did ask, and again, I didn't know anything really about these packs or boxes, and I was at a card store back in my home state, and I asked the person behind the desk, I was like, how does one actually get, like where do these auto cards come from? He goes, you have to buy boxes and you pull them.
Hobby.
I'm like, oh, so I was like, well, let me try it. And, well, let me try another box. Well, let me get that box too.
Yeah.
So next thing you know, it just gets out of control.
Yes, it does. But that was back when boxes were cheaper than nowadays.
Or probably.
I mean, 6 years. I mean, yeah. Like, we're not talking like 1990s wax prices.
Right.
I mean, 6 years ago, pre-pandemic, box prices were manageable. Were definitely cheaper than nowadays. Maybe not super cheap, but okay. So that's kind of like your collecting journey up to this point. I don't know, like we're like not even 10 minutes in, but I did kind of want to talk a little bit about this show. So I'm really excited we're kind of like, we're driving down together. We are splitting costs. We were going to split one table, but you have like a lot of cards. You're not bringing all 80,000. But you're bringing a fair amount, and we thought it might be good for each of us to have a table. And the venue in Greenville, in the hotel, the Hilton Greenville Hotel venue, said that they could accommodate. And so we're both going to have a table. You're also bringing what to try to sell?
So I got memorabilia. I have a miniature Mark Mosley autograph football helmet. He is the only NFL player to win the MVP as a special teams player.
Really?
He was a kicker for the I almost said the Red Wings. He was a kicker for the Redskins way back in the day.
Okay.
He won the Super Bowl with them. He got MVP, and he was a special teams player. I have that. I have 3 numbered autographed Miguel Cabrera bats. One of them is numbered up to 24, and I think the one is numbered up to 212, and one is numbered up to 100. I have an Aaron Judge autograph 62 home run commemorative numbered up to 500 autograph baseball. I do have a Denny McClain autograph baseball. He's the last. I know there's a lot of controversy with him outside of baseball, but he is the last baseball pitcher to have a 30-win season, and I think it was in 1968. Don't quote me, but I think it was 1968. He went 31-6. He got the World Series ring with the Detroit Tigers.
Okay.
I believe he might have got MVP
Okay.
as well. But he's the last 30-win pitcher in a season. 30 wins, and right now this day
That'll
and
never
age-
happen again. Yeah.
Right, everybody
There's no
shoots
way.
for 20, and it's a big deal.
Right.
Um,
Load management.
Right. So just trying to really rein in my inventory, my control. It seems like I just have a lot of stuff. I have some magazines. I have a magazine that has Ken Griffey Jr. on the front. I think it's from 1990. It's like a comic magazine, or it's some sort of a unique.
Is it like signed? I know. Like,
it is not signed.
Okay. Yeah, I know. I think PSA just announced that they're going to come out with like slabbing comic books. I wonder if they're going to do like magazines and just print copies as well.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for the time. This may sound silly, but it may really happen. Is when these grading companies start grading and slabbing up like books, right? I mean, they're already doing music, like records and vinyls and CDs and all that.
Right.
I mean, when are books going to become slabs? You know, like first edition something. I don't know. It just seems like it's inevitable.
Right.
But so you're bringing memorabilia. You're bringing things that you've held on to. Like you've been again. I know you say you haven't been a lifelong collector, but it's almost like people who live in the DC area. Like if you've lived in the DC area for 10 plus years, you're basically like you're not a transplant anymore. It's one of those things, right? We grade on a curve. So you have been a lifelong collector, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I did have a very big break in there. I collected as a kid, in the 70s.
Yeah.
I'm that old. But
Yeah.
when I came back from the military, my cards were gone. I think my siblings had some fun with them.
Yeah, you told me your younger brother.
Right.
Oh,
I know for a fact I had a Ty Cobb card in there from I don't know what year, but and then I used to play with the cards myself. I didn't know about the value.
Yeah.
I would draw mustaches on some of the cards. I'd put them in my bike spokes, along with
sounds
all the
cool.
other neighborhood kids.
Right.
And it's like, oh, hey, I think Mickey Mantle will look good with some eyebrows.
There you go.
And, you'd color it in and,
There you go with the Mickey Mantle. Yeah, the 52 Mantle with eyebrows and a mustache.
and a goatee, yeah.
And a goatee. Oh my goodness. So I'm really excited for this. Again, I don't know how much, I don't know how long this is going to go. We could also take some breaks as needed because, again, I hope everyone who is listening grades you on a curve because you are literally driving. We have, the 3 hours on the road. So I wanted to record this while we still have some daylight because we are driving in the evening. But do you have any, how do I put this? What would make for a successful show for you? And that's a really hard question because this is your first time. I don't know what your expectations are. Like, I can talk about what my goals are first if you want, or I can go second.
Yeah, so there's a couple goals. One is to get rid of items.
Yeah.
Not give them away, but to
Right.
come back with less inventory.
Right.
And hopefully I have a card or an item that somebody wants to make that person happy.
Yeah.
And what's actually kind of unique, I have a box. So I think most of us, we all have duplicates of, especially when you buy boxes. But I have a box of just a bunch of duplicates from the, 80s or whatever. And I'm just those are just free. So like little kids, if they want a card, they can just, grab a box and get some cards to do whatever with. But
Draw mustaches.
yeah, draw mustaches. But no, just really, if I can, at least break even on my items.
So you and I did not talk about this, but I did the same thing. I actually made with team bags, and certainly not older like junk wax because I don't have as much of that. I do have some of my older cards when I was a kid, but I don't have I didn't have a ton of cards, but I have some ultra modern that I wax that I pulled or just things that I bought, and I have created these little team bags of basketball, baseball, football, and I'm gonna give them away to kids too. And just base cards and just something simple. I did try to in each bag put like a star quarterback. Even if it's like a base Don Russ, Patrick Mahomes. I figured even if the other cards are like of nobody players, like linemen and defensive players, that they can at least get a quarterback, right? So because that's what everyone wants. So that's cool that we both thought about that. Give away stuff, because I have a lot of cards where they have no meaning to me, and I'm not just talking about the base cards. I'm talking about the cards that I came to that I'm bringing to sell. They just don't have as much meaning to me anymore. There are definitely cards where I'm like, why did I buy that? What was I thinking? What was I doing? And a lot of just not being really well educated. I don't think you went through it, but when I first came back into the hobby in 2022, really my first foray was with Whatnot, and I was just buying singles and getting into breaks and just not realizing that the sellers were just kind of pulling, just it wasn't, when I think back to it, I'm like embarrassed. Like, it's just like unbelievable the unsavory practices that they were that they employed.
Yeah, I don't have any real bad experiences. I've never used Whatnot. Actually, I did sign. I don't know if we're supposed to talk about that, but I did sign up.
Okay.
I did sign up, and I did last week, and I actually did their training. So I'm just trying to find out
to sell online,
right?
Oh gosh,
And that's as far as I've gotten, and I haven't done anything more with it.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like Uber. Like, they, nothing against you and your application. Like, when I was authorized to be a Whatnot seller, I had no inventory. I had no good reason to do it. Like, I should have been denied. I mean, they should have had a stricter policy, but they really let anyone sell, because for them it costs them nothing to let another seller on.
Right.
And once they have you hooked, I mean, I know a lot of people who sold where they're like, the reason I'm selling is because I want to get rid of the cards that I bought, and also when I'm selling on Whatnot, I'm not buying on Whatnot. So that's really sad.
And I think so. Buying when you buy a box, and so you have all these cards. You have a base card of a superstar. Whether it's Mike Trout, Ohtani, Freddie Freeman. But they're only worth $1.
Yeah,
and
if that,
and so selling a card for $1 makes 0 cents when it's $3 or $4 for shipping.
Right.
So, and so next thing you know, you're stuck with a bunch of base cards.
Right.
And they're hard to sell, and you just you also end up accumulating them.
Well, isn't it? I don't know what you think about this, because it's clearly you and I both have ripped wax, in the ultra modern era, but it's crazy to me that when I was a kid, I would buy packs, right? $1 packs, $2, really expensive packs were like $4 or $5, and you didn't really you tried to rip until you maybe got a hit. You would buy it from a box from the local card shop. Hopefully it was a newly opened one in front of you, so they didn't kind of mess with like the loose packs, that whole nonsense. But I didn't buy boxes as a kid, and now it's like, Topps, for instance, 2024 Topps Chrome, one auto per box. So you got 24 packs, 4 cards a pack, just off the top of my head, because I was at my local card shop recently. So what is that? 24 times 4, that's 96 cards. You get 1 auto. I'm sure, you get parallels, but that auto might not even be good. And so we've gone from packs to boxes, and now, as we know, like, we live in the era where downtowns and kabooms are like all the rage, where those are case hits. Right. So we're not even talking about packs and boxes. We're talking about you might go through 10 boxes of 94 cards, 96 cards, 960 cards to get 1 card that's of like really good value. Like, to me, that's just wild.
Yeah, it's also it seems like when I see videos of packs online of opening, like, people don't necessarily care about the card or the player.
Yeah.
The only thing they're looking for is the hit.
Yes.
And then they don't care about the other cards.
Right.
And to me, it's like, So the love of the sport
Yeah.
is not necessarily there.
Right.
It's more the thrill of the chase.
Exactly.
Like when I was a kid, I would have my Dan Petrie, my Alan Trammell, my Lou Whitaker, Sweet Lou. You know, those were exciting to me.
Yeah.
You know, but there's not that anymore unless it's a one of one. Then it's a big deal.
Right. Well, I think the way you're speaking, I really hope the audience gets it. Like you are like a true collector. Like you're getting to the foray of selling. You're trying to, you know, like this is your first time that you're going to be a dealer. And I want to talk about the first deal you ever made, which was with me before this car ride. But I'm really excited for you to, you know, you're not doing like a liquidation. Everything must go 90% off, but you want to get liquid. You want to have some funds for, again, we're not going to talk about the reasons you're liquidating, but like you want to sell some of your cards. And you and I talked about this card show, and I was really 50-50 between this and the National. And I feel so bad because I kept you in the loop, but I honestly didn't know whether I was going to do the show until very recently. And once we talked about it, and you know, we like, it was like, all right, we're gonna do this. So I'm really glad that, and I think you told me like you weren't gonna do this if I wasn't gonna do it, right? So that I think was a little bit of an impetus for me too. And I got to talk to the promoter, and he was, you know, I talked to the friend of the promoter who was like just was making me feel really like happy about this decision, I think.
Yeah, and yeah, so and also like I've been to a few card shows, and I've realized you really do need like two people there, so you can take your breaks and have somebody watch over your stuff. So that's important. So I don't think I would do a show by myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I were to do a show, I'd have to drag a friend along to.
So you and I have talked about how it's going to be hard for you to sell some of your cards because you're going to price them, you know, at near comps, but like I did kind of like temper your expectations, because you told me when you go to a show, you just buy at the sticker price or whatever they ask, and you're kind of okay with that because you're buying to collect, not to flip.
Right.
But we are going to encounter people who are looking to have quote unquote meat on the bones. You're going to hear that a lot. You're going to hear meat on the bones, or give me some wiggle room, or, you know, let me, you know, I want to see if I can kind of sell it. You know, I mean, very few people will be like, oh, I want to flip this, but they'll use code and they'll use words. So they might want volume discounts. So we talked about that, right? Like part cash, part trade deals, right? So you feel like you're well equipped for that, or you're ready for it?
Well, so the advantage for me is I don't need to sell anything. Like I love the I love the products I have.
Yeah.
I don't need to sell.
Yes.
But I want to like. But I also am intrigued and want to sell. Initially, my plan with everything, and I have I have two big items that I'm not selling. Well, one I am not selling. That's an investment card.
Yeah.
But I also have a very numbered up to it's a numbered up to 27 Core 4 autograph jersey.
Right.
With Jeter, Posada, Pettit, and Rivera.
Right.
So originally, when I got those items, I'm like, I could just get all this stuff, throw everything in the box, and then in 30 years, 40 years, you know, let my son have it.
Yeah. That's awesome.
But then on the other hand, I'm like, I wonder if I can make some money. and like get rid of items, you know.
Yeah.
You know, so, but then it's also like, well, that'd actually be really cool, you know,
Yeah.
for a man cave.
Yeah.
You know, a sports room in a basement somewhere.
Love it. All right, I think I'm going to take a break here just to get some water, and then we can just kind of, you know, let me give the camera a little rest. All right, be right back.
I'm gonna give you our elbow rest.
Yeah. All right, we are back for the second part of this two-part, I don't know what to call it. It's like a video podcast, road trip edition. We got the sunroof up. We are running out of daylight, so I wanted us to start recording almost immediately right back after a little break that we took. Talk about what we should talk about in the second half. So I want to talk a little bit about the show to set the stage a little bit more for people, and then we'll talk about what some of our better, more higher valued things that we're bringing. That's okay?
Yeah.
So I talked to the friend of the promoter, and I met him on Instagram. I made some deals with him. He's come to my trade night. David has as well, and that's how I met people in this hobby, or these two gentlemen in the hobby. 75 tables, roughly. Hilton, Greenville. Apparently the area is also affectionately called G Vegas. I don't know what that means. I don't think there's a casino nearby. I asked why it's called G Vegas, and apparently it's like an insider joke within the local community or something like that in North Carolina. Have you ever heard of G Vegas?
I have not.
No, I don't know. It sounds so funny. I thought it was like a typo at first. But they expect about 300 to 400 people to roll through. I definitely promoted it on my socials a little bit. Again, I didn't know I was doing this until like the last minute, but I'm glad I'm going. This definitely, for me, scratches the itch. I'll definitely do a recap video, maybe on the drive back. Maybe we should do a second podcast episode, drive back edition, like how did we do or what do we think. But so that's setting the stage for this show. It's my first ever show driving more than an hour. So I've set up in Annandale about 3 times. I've set up at Stafford, Virginia. I've set up at Fairfax, Virginia, and I've hosted 3 trade nights, and I've been to multiple trade nights. And I've been to, say, Chantilly, the National, not setting as a dealer, but like just kind of, trying to sell cards or trade cards with dealers. So that's my kind of like show experience. I do plan to go to Culture Collision in Atlanta later this year in September, Fanatics Fest in New York City, which is gonna kind of be like a card show, but also kind of like a sports fan experience, I guess. And then we'll see some other shows that I've been invited to, but I almost want to say like I'm the unofficial ambassador of the Greenville, North Carolina show. So let's talk about, why don't you go first, and David, tell us what you're bringing to the show that's that you would like, some of the more higher valued both cards and memorabilia.
So for the cards, I have a couple. One is I want to say it's a 2017, which would be a rookie year for Aaron Judge auto. It's a Panini, I think it's a Chronicles.
Okay.
And then I have a
the Miggy.
The Miguel Cabrera. It's a Heat Wave Lava Refractor. There are Heat Wave Lava cards out there, but the refractors are. This one is a refractor auto. There are 50 in inventory.
Right, yeah.
So this is it's a numbered card up to 50. It came back as a PSA 10.
Pop 2, you said, right?
Right. So it's actually it is a population 2, and ironically, I actually had 2 of those cards.
Oh yeah, both.
I had both that were population 2. I ended up trading one of them for an item. So that's why I only have one now.
So really hard to comp a low pop card like that.
Right. I don't. I have nothing to go by.
We won't say what your lowest is, because in case not that someone's gonna listen to this before we actually do the show, but we'll talk about after the show if you did end up selling it. Oh. So you have that. You have the Aaron Judge auto. You have what are some other cards, or if you want to switch to memorabilia?
So I have a very unique card, and it's a Shohei Ohtani. I think it's a 2023 card. It's a base card. However, I should have measured it, but I think it's like 6x8, or something. It is crazy massive, and
it's a box topper, right?
I guess.
Yeah, I think it's a box topper.
Yeah, right. So it's I'm not 100% on all the nomenclature, all the technical names, but I had it graded, so PSA encased it. I think it took 9 months to get it back from PSA for that particular card.
Well, that's to make all the plastic. It's like huge. I can't wait to show it on
it's
on YouTube.
It's just a very unique. It's like a centerpiece for like a coffee table or something.
No, it's huge. So that card's gonna be hard to move, literally and figuratively. It's heavy. It's fun. It's definitely unique, but I think so many people they kind of like eschew. They hold their nose up to like mini cards, jumbo cards, anything that's just not that 2.5 by 3.5 cardboard.
Right.
Even like people get so upset about horizontal versus vertical cards and how it looks PSA. I mean, people are very particular. So I mean, I wish you luck selling all that. But so those are some of your more expensive cards, and then memorabilia wise, you have even better memorabilia than cards, I think.
Right.
Value wise.
Right. So definitely the I have a Triple Crown numbered autograph Miguel Cabrera bat. I have a commemorative All-Star bat numbered up to 24 autograph Miguel Cabrera. And then I have a third bat, which is his retirement bat with all of his stats on it for his career. That one's autographed, and I actually I have a photo. The photographer printed off a photo and gave it to me.
Wow. So it's like photo matched.
Well, it's photo matched, but yeah, and everything is authentic. They have the sticker.
Is it JSA?
Honestly, I'd have to double check. It might be Fanatics.
Okay, yeah.
I'm not sure, but you can scan it with your QR or scan it with the camera.
Right.
It comes up to the website.
Gotcha. I mean, honestly, a 4-foot by 8-foot table.
Oh, the Aaron Judge baseball.
The Aaron. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So how could I forget about that?
Yes.
So that is
full details.
Yeah, that is the big one. That's probably the most expensive item. That one is a numbered baseball, and it's a 2 baseball set, and it's a 62 home run numbered baseball bat that really captured him being the American League leader in home runs. And it is a gorgeous signature. He has a good signature anyway.
He does.
Or autograph.
I do. I do agree. I like him and Derek Jeter's autos. They're very loopy. They're very clean. They take pride in their autos. I like, the greats. I think they know that their autograph or their signature is it's part of their brand.
Yeah. Speaking of Jeter, I brought all my Jeter cards, but I did. Back in 1997, I bought the SP foil card.
Yes.
So it's not graded. I have it with me though.
You had some in-person autograph signed Jeter cards, right?
Yeah. So I'm in the military, and I've been in for a very long time.
Yeah.
About three and a half decades.
Nice.
And counting.
Mm-hmm.
But back in 1997, I believe.
There's a stalled vehicle ahead.
Yeah. So back in 1997, I was active duty in the Marine Corps.
Uh-huh.
And Derek Jeter just won the World Series in '96. He got Rookie of the Year in '96. And back in Kalamazoo, Michigan, which is my hometown, his hometown.
Yep.
We have at the time it was an international hockey league called the Kalamazoo K-Wings or Kalamazoo Wings.
Okay.
He was dropping a ceremonial puck at that hockey game, and the hockey arena reached out to my unit, and they wanted a honor guard, a color guard.
Nice.
So before the game, I got all dressed up in my dress blues, and you go out there with a rifle.
Yeah.
There's 4 of us, so 2 riflemen and 2 flag bearers.
Yeah.
We do the ceremony for the national anthem, but I knew he was going to be there. That's pretty much all I knew, and I brought 2 cards with me, and I put them in the top of my cover, top of my hat, and I had a Sharpie, I think, stuffed up there too.
That's awesome.
And one of those cards was the SP foil.
Yes, I've seen it.
And
it's beautiful.
and so I get done. We get done with the opening ceremony. He drops the puck, and I'm just wandering around the corridor, and I run into him unexpectedly, and I asked him if he could sign this card, and he absolutely did. It is not the SP foil that he signed. It is a card that was it's about a 99-cent card back then, and it's still about a 99-cent card now. But now it has his auto on it, and
Which,
that's
that's priceless. I mean,
right.
Yeah.
And so I know the history behind that card.
Yeah.
I know where I bought it.
Right.
And it is JSA authenticated, and that one is, it's not a big value. I think at the end of the day, if I were to sell it, I think it's maybe a $300 card.
You
But-
have that story.
But that's such a
Yeah.
personal,
Totally.
yeah. So I do have that card.
That is awesome.
And then I do have a Derek Jeter Rookie of the Year autographed baseball. It's a numbered up to 1996, which represents the year he got
Right.
Rookie of the Year. And I have a Sports Illustrated that's numbered as well,
Okay.
which has a gorgeous silver autograph
Nice.
on it. And that's actually in a nice magazine frame that's matted.
Nice. Soon to be slapped by PSA. No, I'm just kidding. No, that's awesome. So you have those cards. If I can kind of just share what I am bringing, I actually may have forgotten. I was very 50-50 on bringing this card, but I think it might be back home. So my first ever upcharge on PSA was a Josh Allen Downtown. I think in one of my Instagram reels, I was on a podcast recently and I talked about it. I think I said I bought it for $300. I think it was like a part cash, part trade deal. So I think I put down $300, but I put some more cards into the deal. But I submitted it for PSA for grading, and instead of the normal, because I think the declared value was $500, the maximum, and this came back and I got the upcharge email. And instead of the regular upcharge that would have been $40, they had recently gone up to $75. I know, right? David
Wow.
is like mouth agape while driving, and it's not because of a stalled vehicle here. But I was, at that point, I was kind of like, it's still taking a break from the hobby, so I didn't even realize that it had gone up. But I was like, sure. It was funny because I hadn't responded to a lot of my hobby emails, and I won't say his name, but one of the PSA reps contacted me, and because I wasn't responding to emails, he texted me, and I'm like, how your text, PSA is now texting its customers, but I wasn't getting special influencer treatment or like that. It was just they wanted me to approve the upcharge and just get it out the door, right? They just wanted to ship it. They were done grading the cards. So it's my first ever upgraded PSA submitted card. It's a Josh Allen Downtown PSA 10. The last few comps were about in the 1,000 range. Thought about bringing it. I have so much other stuff that I wanted to sell that I think, because I am going to other shows after this one, which I hope you come with me. There's shows in Arlington, there's shows in Maryland, and we got a little bit of tailgating happening in real time. Should I show the tailgating? Look at this.
Yeah.
What are they doing? He's honking, trying to get.
We're driving safely.
We're driving very safely. But yeah, it's interesting that I know.
I'm gonna
Oh my
stop
gosh.
out there.
Yeah. So, I am bringing a Joe Burrow Downtown that is raw. I am bringing a Jalen Green Panini Noir Rookie Spotlight Signatures auto out of 10. That's raw. I won it in a giveaway on Whatnot, which was probably my biggest come up on Whatnot, was winning a giveaway. And that was a pretty sweet card. We've definitely lost the light at this point because it's past sunset.
Yes.
So, but it's all right. This is mostly for audio anyway.
Yeah, if people are listening, they can still hear.
I hope so. Yeah.
They can hear our amazing voices.
Yes, exactly. So, those are my higher value cards. I have some other slabbed cards that are in the maybe like $300, $400, $500 range. I have a Sean Taylor downtown. It's not a PSA 10, it's a PSA 9, but it's still a beautiful card. I'm a big fan of the DC downtown ones. Being from the area, just sign me up if there's cherry blossoms and monuments and pandas in the background. So but I'm ready to let go of that card for the right price and for the right buyer.
In a quarter mile, merge onto I-95 South.
There we go. So I think this is where we're gonna end it, and we'll just maybe do a second podcast episode about the show on the drive back.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah. Awesome. Any final words before we say goodbye here?
I'm brand new at this.
Yeah.
I don't know a lot of the lingo. I'm still trying to figure out what junk wax actually is.
Yes.
I probably haven't, just don't know it.
But there's welcome to the junk slab era too.
So we're parked. We're not.
We're parked.
Yes.
We are parked. We're gonna take a little stretch of our legs here.
Yep. So and hopefully we'll have some exciting news on the follow up.
Yeah, you're gonna do great. We're gonna do great. All right. Thanks.